Hi, I'm Zach. Welcome back to my channel where I do readings using my original cards that I made. This is part of a series of videos where I explain the meaning behind the cards to help you get a little more insight into the readings. So most of the cards have characters from my game Monster Garden on them, but there's also some other cards, which I'm explaining here, that have characters from different comics that I've drawn over the years. And at one point I did these full color illustrations of the characters, so I kind of used those for some of the cards, and they had each kind of taken on a different meaning, kind of like tarot cards, how they have archetypes and everything like that. My whole deck is kind of like a mix of tarot and oracle cards, but just my own fun, weird little system, a little more lighthearted and colorful maybe than a lot of tarot decks. But let's look at the cards today. If you watched the last video, you heard me explain about this comic. It was about humans that have monster allies that they discover that give them superpowers. So these characters, these three, I actually never really worked them into the story yet. I just like planned out their personalities and their monsters and stuff. And the first one is Distance, Let It Be. This one's kind of a stereotypical monk character, but this is how I drew it back in 2013. This is about when it's just the healthiest thing to take a step back and let things play out on their own, either with a situation or another person. And this character's monster gives him the ability to kind of sense other people's intentions. Not that he can read their mind or anything, but just when someone's approaching, it kind of gives him a sense of like this person can be trusted or this person has, this or that intention, even though it might be different than how they look on the outside. So it just gives him kind of a vague sense of the vibe of where this person's coming from. So yeah, that's this character. When it comes in reverse, it can be that you're a little too disengaged from a situation and a little too distanced, but usually it's just a nice message of you don't need to be too worried or like concerned about something or overly engaged with it because a lot of things are beyond our control and we just have to let them play out and let them be. Also about this character, I kind of saw him as being, coming from some kind of reclusive monk society or something, whatever that means. That's a little bit stereotypical, but the idea was that he gets this monster ally and so kind of realizes he needs to go out on a journey and kind of engage with the world a bit and not be totally removed from it, because this card is all about like being distant and letting things be when that's the healthy approach and when that's just the best thing to do. So it's kind of having the wisdom to see when that's the best thing to do. It's not that like you should be distant and disengaged from everything. That's kind of the reversed meaning of being overly disengaged. It's just about being that way when it's healthy and appropriate and when it's not. So the character kind of realizes he does need to go on a journey, an adventure, and engage with the world to find other people who have these monster allies and figure out what's going on. So each character kind of has their motivations and backstories like that. The next card, I also don't know how this character ever played into the main story, but I just got the idea for him. He's kind of like, he has a special monster that's not even visible in the way I cut this image. I really want to redo all the images actually. But his monster gave him the ability to do lots of acrobatic tricks and feats, like he can just jump around, do a somersault, do this or that. And it says ready awaiting orders. So I also see him as kind of an assistant to like a commander or something like that, where he has a pen and paper or like even a map and is just like he's kind of saying you have the experience and the skills and the troops and everything ready to go, so where are we going to make our move? It's just saying that you're totally ready. You don't need to question yourself. You don't need to learn more or prepare more. You're ready to jump into action. So it can kind of be a little bit of a pushy message, like what are you waiting for? So it's a pretty positive one to get in a question about like, am I ready for this or should I do this? Or anything that you're worried or hesitant about. And then in reverse, it could be about a situation where you're like expected to leap into action and be ready to go, but you don't want to, when you're actually just not ready for something to really put it into action yet. So that's not even necessarily a bad thing. Like that's what I always say. It's not like upright is good and reversed is bad. It's just kind of a reversal of that situation. So it could be that you still are doing some learning and preparation and you're not ready to leap into action yet. And then this one. This is a kind of intense card. It's about seeing exactly where to strike. So part of it is kind of about seeing weaknesses and vulnerabilities, which is a little bit intense and kind of scary. It says thorough and complete. It's about being able to strike in just the right place to totally, thoroughly, and completely kind of finish something off, like a situation or something, not leaving any threads hanging. This character is about kind of being able to remove obstacles or like there's a big foe or a big wall or something that everyone's intimidated by, but this character kind of sees just where to strike the one weak point or the one button or the one key or something that makes this whole seemingly intimidating wall just collapse. So it's kind of about removing barriers, removing obstacles, and doing it thoroughly and completely, and not through brute force. It's not about bashing your way through a wall with tons of excessive energy. It's just like finding the one secret button to make it go away or picking the lock. So her monster, I don't really remember what I planned for her monster's secret ability to be. I think it was something that would just like magically undo locks or like be able to eliminate barriers and just knock things out of the way. But when it comes up in a reading, it can be about a need to like be really clear about where you're at, and also to not just like brute force your way bashing through problems, and that maybe you could save a little bit of energy with a little more precision. It could also be like in a less literal way about like just knowing just the right thing to say to kind of take the wind out of someone's sails who's being like a big, threatening character or something, or just like totally change the situation on a snap because of you just saying or doing the right thing. But in the reverse, I basically just understand it as like, don't be too cutthroat and brutal with yourself. Don't be like too harsh and expecting like every situation to be totally efficient, or like going too harsh on yourself with your actual weaknesses and vulnerabilities. Obviously, we need to like protect and be gentle with those places a lot of the time. That's why I feel like this is kind of an intense card. Like, it's not a place you can be for a long amount of time, and this really like intense place of seeing each weak point and striking there. But it's kind of, when it comes up, it can be a powerful or a transformative moment in a reading. I feel like it's more like a special type of moment. So this is a pretty short reading. I only had 3 cards because these are the last 3 characters from that comic, and there still are more cards in my deck. Some of them are other extra characters from the game or other extra cards I'm kind of testing out. But this is actually the last of the main central characters that I originally wanted to put in the deck, and now I'm kind of just adding new ones as I go and trying them out and see how they work. So I'll probably do a few more videos explaining the other cards as well. But I hope you're enjoying these videos. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the cards and the whole project in general. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. If you know anyone who would be interested in these kind of illustrated cards and making up a new little card system, then please share the video with them. And if you do subscribe, please hit the bell icon so you stay notified of new videos. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!